Good afternoon, and welcome to the September 10th regular meeting of the Community Development Commission of Chicago. I am Latasha Thomas, Vice Chairman of the CDC. Today's meeting is being held at City Hall, City Council chambers, and is also being streamed by the Department of Planning and Development. The agenda for today's meeting was posted on September 5th, both on the CDC website and physically in City Hall. I will now call the order of the September 10th meeting of the Community Development Commission with a call of the roll. Commissioners, when your name is called, please respond by present. Please note, this vote will be used to establish the roll call to vote on subsequent items. Commissioner Chen McKibben. Commissioner Boatright.
Present.
Commissioner Buford. Commissioner Curtis. Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Gomez. Commissioner Griggs. Commissioner Zayas. Did I say your name right? I did, okay. Thank you, commissioners. We have a quorum. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from our previous meeting held on August 13th. The commissioners have had an opportunity to review the minutes, and if there are no corrections, I move passage of this item by the same roll call vote previously used to establish quorum. Hearing no objections, the motion is approved. Item A in new business. Inglewood Neighborhood Redevelopment Project Area, which is in Ward 16, 63rd, and Ashland Redevelopment Project Area, Ward 15 and 16. Commissioners, for the first item of new business, the Chicago Department of Transportation is seeking authority to acquire all or part of 23 properties located within the limits of the Inglewood Nature Trail between 59th and 58th Owen Avenue and Low Street in the Inglewood neighborhood, and 63rd Ashland Tiff redevelopment project area. Ms. Ms. Bennock will provide a brief description of this change on behalf of CDOT.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Vice Chair Thomas and Commission members. My name is Lupka Benak. I am with the Chicago Department of Transportation, and I will be presenting to you an acquisition request for the Inglewood Nature Trail project. The Inglewood Nature Trail is a proposed trail project along the former elevated railroad embankment between Hoyt Avenue on the west, Low Avenue on the east, 58th Street on the north, and 59th Street on the south, extending approximately 1.75 miles. It is located within the 15th and 16th wards. The project is being developed in coordination with both aldermen, and both aldermen have been briefed on the acquisition needed, and both aldermen are in support of the project. The project and related properties for acquisition are in the West Inglewood and Inglewood community areas. The properties for acquisition fall within the 63rd Ashland and Inglewood neighborhood TIF redevelopment project areas. The Inglewood Nature Trail has been envisioned for many years and has been reflected in multiple planning efforts. The trail project is a continuation of the values established in the agro-eco district land use plan and will provide many benefits in the area once built. Shown on this slide are images of the railroad embankment today. The project will convert an abandoned railroad embankment into a shared use path, creating a new community asset. The project will act as a major catalyst for inclusive revitalization, be a connector of opportunity, linking active living, access to nature and the outdoors, and urban agriculture, provide significant safety, health, and climate benefits by providing a dedicated right-of-way for people walking and biking, and is driven by and directly benefits neighborhood residents. The project objectives are in line with both TIF redevelopment area plans. The improvements will create the infrastructure to support new residential and commercial investments adjacent to the path. The path will encourage the continued development of an urban agricultural district in the area, which generates job opportunities by fostering neighborhood stability and creating a signature destination within the area. The project will also provide an equity-focused investment in the economic development of the Inglewood neighborhood, which aligns with grassroots initiatives to use the trail not just as a physical connector, but also as a connector of opportunity along the corridor. This slide shows the typical section of the proposed trail design. The trail will be 12 feet wide and 5 feet wide flat shoulders. This best fits within the existing flat area at the top of the embankment and will require the least amount of embankment and tree impacts, while also providing the most comfortable space for users. Where width allows, there will also be programmed areas along the trail as shown by the two renderings on the right. There are 12 proposed access points along the trail that will be ADA compliant. This slide shows a rendered ADA compliant access point with a ramp going up to the elevated trail. Also pictured is an example of an existing access ramp along the Saugonest Trail, as well as a perspective of an access point along the Inglewood Nature Trail. Property acquisitions are needed for the construction of the Inglewood Nature Trail and include full property takes, partial temporary construction easements, and partial permanent construction easements. 7 parcels are for full property takes required for an access point and ramp and for general construction needs. Only vacant lots will be fully acquired. 14 parcels are for partial temporary construction easements required to access adjacent private properties to perform the necessary repairs and reconstruction of existing retaining walls. 2 parcels are for partial permanent construction easements, and they are required to access adjacent private properties to maintain access for future repair and maintenance of retaining walls. All efforts were made in this project to minimize negatively impacting the surrounding properties. There are no relocations required for this project, and the temporary and permanent construction easements are small and are not expected to infringe on the active living space of the private properties. All property owners will be compensated. Shown here are the property acquisition within the TIFs. The TIF boundaries are shown in light green. The dark green shows the city-owned property for the proposed trail. Full take is shown in red. Temporary easements are shown in light blue, and the permanent easements are shown in yellow. Please note the exhibit is not to scale and is for illustrative purposes only. Shown here are 5 of the 7 full-take parcels required for an access ramp south of the embankment between Damon and Winchester. These are all within the 63rd and Ashland TIF, totaling 24,612 square feet or 0.57 acres. All properties are vacant today. Shown here are the remaining. Hold on. Thank you. Shown here are the remaining 2 full-take parcels required for retaining wall reconstruction at Peoria. This vacant land is owned by the Cook County Land Bank Authority, and these are within the Inglewood neighborhood TIF, totaling 9,333 square feet or 0.21 acres. Many existing retaining walls along the trail embankment are in poor condition or have failed. Access to adjacent private properties is required to perform the necessary repairs and/or reconstruction of the existing retaining walls. Shown here is an example of the temporary construction easements needed for the repair or reconstruction of these retaining walls. The properties will be restored after construction. There are 2 temporary construction easements required in the 63rd and Ashland TIF and 12 in the Inglewood neighborhood TIF. The width of these easements will range between 2 to 16 feet, totaling 17,052 square feet or 0.39 acres. 2 permanent construction easements are required within a commercial parking lot to repair the existing retaining wall as well as to maintain future access to the wall. This is within the 63rd and Ashland TIF. The easement width is 5 feet and totals 2,918 square feet or 0.07 acres. The project budget is estimated at $91.4 million. $42.3 million has been allocated from the Federal Transportation Alternatives Program, $3 million from the Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program, $407,000 from the Illinois Department of Natural Resources Open Space Lands Acquisition and Development Grant, and $30.7 million from local general obligation bond. A grant application for $15 million for the Federal Active Transportation Infrastructure Investment Program has been submitted for. There are $0 from the 63rd and Ashland TIF and $0 from the Inglewood neighborhood TIF. Phase 1 preliminary engineering and environmental studies for the project started in Q3 of 2022 and was completed in Q4 of 2023. Phase 2 detailed engineering started in Q1 of 2024 and is anticipated to be completed in Q4 of 2025. Public engagement has been ongoing throughout both phases. A public hearing was held on November 15th, 2023, at which time the proposed acquisition was presented. Recently, all property owners received certified letters regarding this acquisition. Construction is anticipated to start Q2 of 2026 and be completed by end of 2028. The Chicago Department of Transportation requests the authority to acquire all or part of 23 properties, 7 full takes, 14 temporary easements, and 2 permanent easements located within the limits of the Inglewood Nature Trail between 59th Street and 58th Street and Hoyne Avenue and Low Street in the Inglewood neighborhood and 63rd Street, 63rd and Ashland tax increment financing redevelopment project areas. Thank you. I'm available for any questions now.
Thank you, Luca. Before we move to questions, please let the record reflect that Vice Chair Thomas should be noted as present for the roll call and voted as yes to approve the previous meeting minutes. I would like to recognize Alderman Lopez and invite him to make a statement if he so chooses.
Thank you and good afternoon, members of the commission. I originally had planned on testifying in support of this project. The Englewood Trail is something, as was mentioned previously by Luvica, we have been discussing since Rahm Emanuel was mayor. And I think we've gone from 2 billion to 100 million to whatever millions we're at with this project. This is a wonderful project for Englewood, both Englewood proper as well as West Englewood. But I just received a message from my office. And in my opinion, it is directly related uh, to the improvements that we're doing here and discussing today. And that is, as Commissioner Boatright undoubtedly knows, that that we are planning in the city to sell many vacant properties through Shy Block Builder in October. And all of the 300 properties that were provided to the department for sale, with emphasis on local ownership, have been rejected by the department for being put up for sale. Put another way, nobody in West Englewood is going to be able to purchase any of the vacant lots that are next to their homes. I was told right now that because of an individual who retired, none of the lots can be properly surveyed, assessed, or sold. I cannot allow for the vacant lots to be sold for this process if the other lots are not available to my community. I would gladly defer and deal with the commissioner on this. But if this is not rectified, then I would ask that this matter be held until I get a proper answer from my community. Because I have many, many seniors, many homeowners in West Englewood who've been asking and inquiring ever since the dollar lot program was decimated by the previous administration to gain access to these lots. And to find out, as I'm literally sitting here right now, that in our monthly DPD meeting, we were just told everything that we had provided is not going to happen, that only 9 out of 300 lots will be up for sale in the October selling is completely unacceptable to me. So I would ask the commission, and Commissioner, I did not mean to do this to you, but as I'm getting it, we're bringing it up. I would ask if you would entertain the motion amongst yourselves to hold this item until we can get clarification. Otherwise, to table this to next month's meeting.
Commissioner Boatright.
Yeah, so I'm actually happy to provide Commissioner Boatright, the Department of Planning and Development. I can provide clarification right now. For Shy Block Builder, we work directly with our auditors to determine which lots are available for sale, and that will not change. We're going to work with you to determine which lots we move forward on October 1st. I just want to remind us, it's kind of separate from the for sale, for rental, open space kind of process on Shy Block Builder. We would not be doing it in isolation of you and your priorities or the community's priorities.
No.
So while,
I didn't, forgive me, I didn't say that you were doing it separate from us. We were working together.
yes.
And again,
And we'll continue, I guess is what I'm getting at. And while we haven't finalized our list, it will be in collaboration with you. And so I want to have you rest assured knowing that the list is not final. We're working with you and your team to determine which ones we list for sale and for what redevelopment purposes. And that hasn't changed, that won't change. It hasn't changed from any other Shy Block Builder listings. And again, it won't change for October 1st. And so whether it's 6, whether it's 9, whether it's 20, we want to make sure that we're prioritizing A's and B's, those that have been kind of cleaner than other lots to move forward. It could be just a question on what's available, what's already been tested before we decide what goes forward. I mean, I would have been happy to answer this in real time before the meeting, but again, it has not been determined which lots we're moving forward.
Well, I appreciate that, Commissioner, and as I said, I did not plan on walking in here making this announcement. I literally got it as I'm sitting here from my office and from Nolan in your office, who just sent me the list. So I would renew my request to this commission that this be deferred either to later till she can get an answer or till the next meeting when we get a more appropriate response from the issues that I just raised.
Thank you, Alderman Lopez. Is there anyone here for Alderman Coleman? Did you receive a letter of support from Alderman Coleman?
Not a letter, verbal.
Thank you. No written statements from the public were submitted in this matter. However, public will have their opportunity to make comments after the commissioners' questions. We now move to questions. Commissioners, Luca is here to help answer any questions that you may have on this project. Does anyone have any questions? Okay.
Yes,
Commissioner.
Dwight Curtis. I'm wondering, when we talk about construction access, is there interruption to private property as part of that construction process?
Well, to access for the retaining wall reconstruction, there will be some interruption, yes.
And how significant is that? Does that interrupt the businesses, or how is that?
It should not,
addressed?
no.
Okay. So it is just access on residential property.
Yes, there are existing retaining walls that we have to reconstruct. We are attempting to move all of them onto what will be city property or the embankment so that it will no longer reside on private property.
Thank you.
Questions? Commissioner Davis.
Question of process, given what was just said. Is there any reason why we can't get more clarity and more answers as it relates to the other properties that Alderman Lopez brought up before, bringing this before? Just to get, more clarity and get better understanding, since we just got this.
Yeah. Commissioner Boatright, DPD, I think the lots that Alderman Lopez is referring to it's a different process. These are shy block builder lots. These are city-owned lots that we typically market for sale. Some of them are for open space, some of them are for side yards, some of them are for single-family development. It just depends on what the alder's priorities are for the development. We work very closely with community. We want to complement existing corridor plans and larger kind of master plans underway. And so it's a separate kind of process for the land. This is specifically tied to the Inglewood Nature Trail. And so the lots that are shown here are separate and apart from the lots that are being listed on October 1st.
No, I
And
understand
so-
that. I guess my question is, and I appreciate that, because that is clear. But I guess the part of the comment, which was the fact that the other lots are being held up, so to speak, is a concern to the community, whereas we're kind of ready to move forward with something else. Just wondering out loud, just in terms of being in lockstep with the community, if it makes sense to just understand better what that process is in order to, make it more, I guess, appealable that we would be doing something like this to help the community and to do what's necessary to upgrade the community in some respects, but also not foregoing the concerns that the community has about other things. So-
Yeah, so again, Commissioner Boatright, we absolutely do not forego community priorities or concerns of the community. I think what we're talking about is a list of lots that has not been finalized first, that will be finalized before the October 1st listing. And so this list isn't final, it's not public, they're not marketed yet. Right now, we're going through our due diligence and working with each of the aldermen to determine how many lots are listed, what the priorities are from those lots, as I mentioned, based off larger plans that are underway, and it hasn't been finalized. I'm hearing in real time, just like you are right now, and so I would need to kind of sit down, and actually I have Kathy Dickett, who manages all of our shy block builder developments and the disposition strategy, to kind of speak to where we are on the process. But again, for the third time, and I'll continue to say it, it has not been finalized. We do not make decisions in isolation of our aldermen. We are collaborative with every single alderman on what lot is listed and when it is listed. And it's in response to community's priorities. And so again, I don't know how else to kind of articulate You know, the lots that you saw here, the city property, the private property are specifically tied to Inglewood Trail. What's happening in October 1st is for community development, neighborhood development that's still being reviewed, vetted in collaboration with our elders.
Question?
And Kathy Dickett, who manages all of our disposition is here if we just want to kind of address this in real time, so not to delay a pending approval or to give you comfort, Alderman, on next steps for the Shy Block builder related issues. And I know it's not CDC specific, but given that it's raised now at CDC, I felt like it was appropriate for Kathy to respond in real time.
Can you state your name and title before you speak?
She's trying to get her mic.
Hello? Oh, there it is. Sorry, Kathy Dickett, Deputy Commissioner, Department of Planning and Development. And yes, my team manages Shy Block Builder. We are in the process, and we have been for 2 months of meeting with all the alders and going over lots to market starting October 1st. So all the lots that we're marketing have, you know, we've vetted them with the alders. They've selected what the lots are going to be for. The lots here are for the Inglewood Trail, which again, we vet all of those with Alderman Coleman and Alderman Lopez. But as to the commissioner's point, we're in the process of getting ready. And if there are any other lots that alders have not told any of their regional planners or us, we will certainly look to put those on. But that is the process that we're following. We are working with the alders and the regional planners to identify what is ready to go, what are the priorities of the community. And also, I would just want to stress what the lot should be marketed for: side yards, open space, affordable housing, and market development. So we're making those decisions every month with the alders. Is there other questions?
Okay, I'll take public comment, but we will move the item for a vote to after the second item to see if there's a resolution before.
Second.
Yes. I'm just gonna move it. Okay. If there are no further questions, I would now like to invite members of the public who are in attendance and interested in speaking on this item to please step up to the mic. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes and asked to keep any statements relevant to the item before us. When you step up, please state your name.
George Blakely. And it's just another dog and pony show with these vacant lots. And they're using the county land bank to steal people in the city's lot. So it's just a game. It's a dirty game. So that game was going on before Sierra got here, and it probably would be going on after. This is politics in Chicago. Just politics in Chicago. And most of these lots that will be stolen would be from Black people in the Black community. They don't do that to the whites. So I'm amazed, and I'm just fascinated with government to just see what have happened to the Black man and Black woman. When you're being shown racism and you're silent on the plantation. Oh, master made a nigga. Oh, but we got to make ourselves into strong Black men and women. It's a game. It's nothing but a game. And Black people know the game. And sometimes they're silenced because they are getting paid. They're getting money to be silent. They have no allegiance to their Blackness. No allegiance to the ancestors. It's a game, and I'm gonna have to check on my lot too. because it used to just be in the city. Now the land bank, they're all 69 in each other. The county land bank. Oh, it's something else. It is something else. And you got black faces in high places telling black people out. They back my mama with her nappy hair. She hated that hair because she was an antebellum little girl. And she didn't see herself as she because she fell in love with the oppressed. Just like Patty Hearst fell in love with her captor who raped her. She figured if I can look like them and love them, maybe they would accept me. Love didn't have to have a big no, a big this, and your black people. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we speak about lots. And I'm currently fighting the city of Chicago. Well, I'm not even fighting. We won this case. My mother's suing for $3 billion because the city of Chicago unlawfully demolished the Sandpiper Lounge. And Latasha Thomas, you were the alderman. You born and raised over there. You knew exactly when I first came in here and I started talking about Sandpiper Lounge. You know the Singleton brothers own that lot, that building, that whole block since 1965. You sold that lot to Quackenbush and them so they could put that Save-A-Lot on there, and it didn't pay my family at all for that. You let them put a Save-A-Lot on there, run it on there, and then they closed it in 2020. And now they're trying to put a government-run owned grocery store, Yellow Banana, on there. But it's because of you and Terry Peterson. You were Terry Peterson's chief of staff. Then Terry Peterson, and then Daley went and put him up for CHA. They started stealing CHA money. Then they put you in there as the alderman. And you asked my godfather to go across to take his before you guys decided to just completely knock it down, for him to switch lots from across the street when Bill was the alderman at that time for Operation Push, knowing that wasn't worth anything, but that block was worth a lot. And you're the type of people that sell us out. You talking about them lots that Alderman Lopez is worried about? You sold my godfather out. You the reason why that building is no longer Sandpiper Lounge. You had the police go in there. You paid the police to go in there to take the license off because you had already had plans. Now I got the little 20-year plan of what y'all were going to do over there in the name of affordable housing racket and the government run grocery store. But people like you, could part of the old Democratic machine that's broken half. Because, I'm going to see what I can do to you legally, because I know you're an attorney too. So I know that you know what you're doing was fraud, public corruption, all because of you and Daley, because of Daley. You, Daley part of the machine, you part of the machine, Terry Peterson part of the machine, and then y'all let it fall on David Moore. And David Moore just wasn't man enough to put it on you. Now, he's added to the lawsuit. We're going to win our lawsuit. It's already $1 billion deficit because of y'all. I mean, it's already $1 billion deficit. So now it's about to be $4 billion because we're not settling. I technically own the city of Chicago. So I'm going to see what I can do to you legally and see if you can take your ass to jail too.
Thank you. Next comment.
My name is Jessica Jackson, and I want to direct my question to the minister that bought the house for the illegals, his church that bought the house for the illegals. And I know you haven't got to that yet, but after I finish speaking, I need to go eat. Here's the thing. I'm 61 years old, Black, born and raised in the inner city of Chicago and then Los Angeles. And what we saw happening in the 80s was the crack epidemic. And when that crack epidemic hit, because that was a Black issue at that time, you saw the Black churches jump into it. And they got 501c3s, and they end up buying up all type of stuff. And they end up getting money from the government in order to build transitional housing, rehab, and next thing you know, all the quote unquote small front churches end up being these great big old shrines. Well, what we're seeing now with immigration is that the churches have gotten involved again. Now, Catholic churches are getting involved because the majority of these illegal immigrants are Hispanic and therefore they're Catholic. Now, we all know that Catholic churches have always had a part in organized crime with the Italians, the mafia, and all that. So we're not new to that, okay? So here's another situation now where due to these immigrants, now the Catholic churches are getting ready to get in on this money. And they're getting ready to hook up these illegal immigrants with houses and stuff, just like what they did with that family that was on the news the other day, that they've been here for all of 2 years. And now they got, with the help of that Catholic church, they got a 4-bedroom house. Now, he wants me, with my Black self, to think that all we got to do is go and apply and we'll get it just like they got it. Well, we know that that's not true. We also know that just like how Zoe's mother have her issue with her building, that's the reason why I'm here, because my building has been in our family for 61 years. And due to the probate process, with the help of the city and the county, they're trying to get that building that was paid to zero since I was 15 years old. So this thieving that's getting ready to come through the Catholic Church with these immigrants to grab up property, that's what that man right there represents. And it doesn't matter what his mouth is going to say, because we already lived through it. And we already know how the Catholic churches get down. And we already know how the churches grab at money by way of the government. So we got our eyes on them, and we're going to do what we got to do, especially when Trump get in office, and come and confiscate all that bogus stuff.
Thank you. Any further comments?
Good afternoon. My name is Doris Lewis. And it's absolutely amazing to me. I have watched in this city for the last 30 or 40 years how Black people have just been pushed out of these communities. There shouldn't be anything going up in Inglewood that does not include 100% Black, because historically that's a Black community. So here we go again with the gentrification. But this time it's going to be illegal economic immigrants that Brandon Johnson has brought in here from all over the world. Gentrification, again, running Black people off the land, stealing land. I mean, you all are such criminals. But you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the Jim Crow era. The Jim Crow era that I grew up under. But the difference here is that under the Jim Crow era, we had to drink out of white water fountain, a colored water fountain. But you know what? During that Jim Crow era, we were not run off the land. We were not run out of our communities. So you all are just like the racist Southerners during Jim Crow in terms of what you're doing here in Chicago, taking land from Black people, running Black people out of the city. Black people losing their homes, they're being evicted, everything. And you all are doing everything you can to help illegal economic immigrants at our expense, our tax dollars. You're criminals. You are disgusting criminals. All of you have such disdain for Black people, and you have Black women who would sit at these tables and carry on this discussion with you criminals. Dare you? Our ancestors fought for you to be where you are, and you don't have the courage to stand up for your people. You go along with this BS with these people, running these people out of their neighborhoods, their communities. Black women are crying, I don't know where I'm gonna go. They've got the immigrants all over this city, primarily in our communities. You women should be ashamed of yourselves. You didn't get where you are by yourself. That was a struggle. People fought, and now you're giving everything away. You have given everything away. Then you come in here and try to fool people with all these statistics, these numbers. You're disgusting. You're absolutely disgusting, all of you, and you should be ashamed of yourselves. You are a disgrace to the ancestors.
There, Wendy? Thank you for your comment. Please proceed.
Disgrace is surely what she is. Disgrace is surely who you are.
Please state your name before you start speaking.
It's wrong
Sir,
that
can you identify yourself, please?
you'll talk to I can say my name at the end. It ain't no time limit when to get my time.
Actually, for the
Yes.
court reporter, we need to,
They'll get it in my speech. You wasting my time. Right, and I ain't gotta, I don't, you
sir,
can't
just,
force-
just give me your comment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can you continue with my time? What's her name? What's her name? Oh, that's Natasha Thomas. First of all, I'm a grown man. You don't tell me when to say my name. If I want to give my name, I got the freedom of speech. Don't try to violate that. I just got on somebody. I get on you too, Krusty. Don't play with me. And I say that all the time, and that's what I mean. I get down on you. I lash out on this mic on you. Now, I done had a good day today. People say I spoke good on the last meeting, so I'm gonna show your ignorant self some slack. But that's the mentality of these fools to keep doing this to their own people. Because see, what you doing now, it may not affect you now, but you will have grandchildren or nieces or whomever, you know, grandbabies, great-great-grandbabies, etc. What you do today reflect on the people tomorrow. And it may be someone in your line of generation that lose their property to corruption. It may be your family that lose their life to corruption. It may be your family that loses to hatred of self, because that's all you hating on is yourself. You's an ignorant fool to do the things that you do. You gotta be retarded. Look up the word retarded, retardation. Abnormal, morbid. It's a sickness of the mind for you to do the things that you do. To where you're trying to even go back and forth with somebody that's expressing their freedom of speech. Like you got some control or command, like I'm supposed to bow down, like, yes, ma'am, I say my name for you. No, because you's an idiot fool and I don't respect you.
Thank you. Commissioners, before we call this item for a vote, I think that Alderman Lopez has additional comments.
Thank you again, and I would like to first off request that my motion to hold does not need to proceed. I thank you for your consideration, but Commissioner Boatright and I were able to get to the heart of the issue with regards to the vacant lots that are for sale as it pertains to the residents in the surrounding community. And now that with that being fully rectified in a way that I think will be beneficial to the community, which I wish they would have stayed to hear, I am in full support of this moving forward today. And again, want to thank Commissioner Boatright for jumping in and making sure that we get this squared away so that we can move forward today and in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. If there are no further questions or comments regarding the matter before us, I will call this item to a vote. The resolution before us, the Chicago Department of Transportation is seeking authority to acquire all or part of 23 properties located within the limits of the Inglewood Nature Trail between 59th Street and 58th Street, Owen and Avenue and Low Street in the Inglewood neighborhood, and 63rd Ashland, TIF project areas. If there are no objections, I move passage of this item by the same roll call vote previously used to establish quorum. Hearing none, the motion is approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item B, Pilsen Industrial Redevelopment Project Area in Ward 25. Commissioners, the last item of business today, the Department of Housing is seeking authority to negotiate a redevelopment agreement with Casa Utane LP and Casa Utane 4 LP or related entity for the redevelopment of the property located at 2136 South Ashland Avenue in the Pilsen Industrial Corridor TIF project area, and to recommend to the City of Chicago City Council the designation of Yucatan, Casa Yucatan LP and Casa Yucatan LP, 4 LP, or a related entity as developer. Ms. Jones will provide a brief description of this change on behalf of the Department of Housing. Ms. Jones.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, Vice Chair Thomas and other members of the committee. I am presenting to you today a request for support for Casa Yucatan development located in the 25th Ward. This development is in the Lower West Side community area. We have also received a letter of support from Alderman Sigcho Lopez. Today, we are here to request support for the allocation of up to $23 million in TIF funds and request to designate Casa Yucatan LP and Casa Yucatan LP 4 as the developer. I'm sorry, Casa Yucatan 4 LP. This is an IDA twin deal, therefore there will be two separate entities. However, this will just be considered as one deal for the city. Listed are the public benefits for this development. The proposed development will be new construction 8-story mid-rise building. The development will contain a total of 98 units for 1 to 3 bedroom units with 20 parking spaces. Additional public benefits include a community space along the Ashland corridor that includes a multi-purpose room and training center. While the planned uses of the training room has not yet been finalized, the developer anticipates using the space for health and fitness activities and programming. This will create approximately 250 to 300 temporary construction jobs, along with 5 to 10 permanent jobs. This development aligns with the Pilsen Industrial Corridor TIF goal by improving the quality of life in the project area and surrounding community. This development is also 100% affordable. The project has held extensive community engagement meetings from 2022 through 2024. The May 4th meeting alone held over 200 community residents in attendance. There will also be an additional community engagement done in coordination with the Alderman's office. The upcoming development will produce a 98 new mixed-income mid-rise building. There will be 20 parking spaces along with 98 bike parking. The building will have secure entry, elevators, on-site management, laundry facilities, and storage. It will feature 2,500 square feet of community amenity space along the Ashland corridor that includes a multi-purpose room, mailroom, and training center. The project is being designed to enterprise green standards, which will satisfy the City of Chicago sustainability requirements. They have elected to pursue the LEED Gold certification as well. The proposed transaction will be located in the 25th Ward in the Pilsen Industrial Corridor TIF District, located in the Lower West Side community area. This development qualifies for ETOD as it will be within a half-mile of the Pink Line CTA stop and within 1/4 of a mile of two high-frequency bus routes along Cermak and Ashland. This is the current site plan showing the on-site parking lot, the playscape, along with the on-site parking management, laundry room, and community rooms. This slide shows you the current views of the site. The site is currently a vacant lot with a gas station adjacent to the lot. They are currently working on a phase 2 of their IEPA report. They do have additional work to do, but they are still in this process and they have also established the need to have an NFR prior to residents moving in. This development was selected in the IDA 2022 QAP round. This will be considered as an IDA twin deal, hence the two separate structures listed. However, again, this will be considered as just one deal for the city. The proposed units range from 1 to 3 bedroom units for a total of 98 units. The 4% structure will have 70 units reserved for households earning 30 to 60% AMI. The 9% structure will have 28 units reserved for households earning 15 to 60% AMI. This will give a total, they will also have a total of 10 units at 15% AMI, 25 at 30% AMI, 51 units at 60%, and 12 units at 70% AMI. There will be a total of 20 units that will receive subsidy from the Chicago Low Income Housing Trust Fund, which are also notated by the asterisks on the 9% structure. This development will be, the development team will be the Resurrection Project, TRP, which is a BIPOC developer. There will not be a co-developer for this project. Listed is the consulting team. TRP Realty will be the property management, Design Bridge as their architect, and Applegate and Thorne Thompson as their counsel and bond counsel. Their lender is CIBC, and syndicator will be Enterprise Community Investment. They have selected GC's Crane and co-GC Blackwood, which is also a BIPOC-led. As stated, this is considered, I'm sorry, so much, IDA deal. Therefore, there will be two budgets listed separately as well as consolidated. The budget will receive up to $25 million in bonds and soft funds totaling $6.1 million, both coming from IDA. They will also receive other grants from ComEd and FHL Bank Affordable Housing Program. They have a buy-in rate at 86 cents for the 4% structure and 86.5 cents for the 9% structure. The city will be providing up to $23 million in TIF funds and up to $2.5 million in multifamily funds to be given as either a grant or a loan. Uses of funds include $46.4 million in construction cost. The development will accrue approximately $12.7 million in soft costs for a total development cost of $61.9 million. Other sources, our sources for the city will be split amongst the development. Listed is the estimated timeline. If approval is received today, this development will be introduced into City Council for full financing next week with passage in October. My estimated closing will be for December of this year. This concludes my presentation. I just wanted to state that DOH has thoroughly reviewed and supports the actions of this project, and that we have also received Alderman Sigjo Lopez's letter of support for this deal. Today I have with me Guacoda Reyes of TRP and Andrew Gear of Blue Eddy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. I'd like to recognize anyone from the Alderman's, Central Lopez's office for the Alderman. Okay, thank you. No written comments from the public were submitted on this matter. We can move to questions now. Commissioners, Ms. Jones is here to help answer any questions that you may have on this project. Are there any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
This is,
Commissioner Davis.
thank you. Commissioner Davis, this is just a question just for clarity for me. When you say 100% affordable, and we see a lot of things come through here that are not 100% affordable, can you break it down for me in terms of how this is able to be 100% affordable? How are the monies, I guess, who is taking on the other lion's share of the $63 million cost? Because when I see something that's 100% affordable, which is good, I guess, but I don't see very many things that come through that are 100% affordable. I just don't understand how some can be and some can't be. So it's just really a point of trying to educate me a little bit about that, please.
Sure, and I can answer that, and also I will have them, the developers up to answer. But just to keep in mind, also remember that we have some developments that are under the Chicago Low Income Housing Trust Fund. So they will be getting an annual subsidy for that as well. They will also have other grants from ComEd, a substantial amount, along with the FHLB affordable housing program that will also give them an allotted amount as well. And then anything else you would like to add from the development team?
Please state your name and the name of your position in the company before you speak.
Yes, Wacolda Reyes with the Resurrection Project. I'm the Chief Real Estate Development Officer. I think what allows the Resurrection Project to make these projects truly affordable is the fact that we have a significant amount of money that is called equity. And as Ms. Jones mentioned it early, we have a combination of what is called 9% and 4% low-income housing tax credits. So those credits allow us to receive equity, money that comes to the deal free. We don't have to pay debt service for that. And in combination, that is almost $26 million out of the 61. Another significant piece is going to be the TIF contribution from the city of Chicago, right? And then we have smaller grants like the Federal Home Loan Bank and ComEd. And the loan from IDA, which is a little over 6 million, also is going to have very low interest rate. And I am assuming the 2.5 from the Department of Housing either is going to be a grant or is going to have 0% interest rate. So this is how we're able to produce rents that are truly affordable, because as you might probably, I don't know if you know, but I think it's important to say that a lot of these units are dedicated to the Hispanic community in the Pilsen community that has been suffering significant gentrification in the last 8 to 10 years. I am a Pilsen resident. I've been there for more than 25 years. I've been working for the Resurrection Project also for more than 25 years. So I can tell you firsthand how our community is changing. And if we're not able to produce this level of affordability, it's going to be gone pretty soon.
Thank you, that's helpful.
Any further questions? Thank you. If there are no further questions, I would now like to invite members of the public who are in attendance and interested in speaking on this item. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes and asked to keep any statement relevant to the request that is before us. If there are no public comments and no further questions regarding this matter before us, I will call this item to a vote. The resolution before us, the Department of Housing is seeking authority to negotiate a redevelopment agreement with Casa Yucatan LP and Casa Yucatan 4 LP or related entity for the redevelopment of the property located at 2136 South Ashland Avenue in Pilsen Industrial Corridor Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project Area, and to recommend to the Chicago City Council the designation of Casa Yucatan LP and Casa Yucatan 4 LP or a related entity as the developer. If there are no objections, I move passage of this item by the same roll call vote previously used to establish quorum.
I will vote no. I believe that, I continue to believe that $600,000 is too much for low-income housing. I think that we need to find another solution, and I think there's a challenge, but I think that the Department of Housing has that challenge, and they need to find another solution rather than spend $600,000 for low-income housing. No.
Thank you, Commissioner Curtis. Hearing no other objections, the motion is approved.
Thank you.
Commissioners, that was our last item on today's agenda. If there are no further questions or comments, I move to adjourn the September 10th meeting of the Community Development Commission by the same roll call vote previously used to establish quorum. Hearing no objections, we are adjourned.